Hey, this is Ciderhelm. I'm going to be doing a second walkthrough of the Barbarian. So we're going to go through the game, and this time we're going to have a little bit of a difference. Now, my first walkthrough on the Barbarian divided up into 8 parts on YouTube, the first videos I released regarding Diablo 3. I spent a lot of time learning the game, figuring out the mechanics, figuring out, basic things like, how do I switch abilities in and out, crafting, etc. That came in at about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Each of the subsequent videos I've done have been about 1 hour long. They've been much quicker. They're all falling right at about the hour mark, and that's playing from start to finish in the campaign, focusing on getting through the game and showing off some of the basics. So I did feel that to give some justice to the Barbarian class, I would need to actually go through this again. But I'm also going to show a couple of different things here. So if you really want to watch my original Barbarian walkthrough, you're not going to get too much out of it, but it's always, it's there for you to watch. Now this time what I'm going to be doing differently, I'm actually starting on the same character, and this character is level 12. I spent some time just searching around, figuring out the bookcases, all that stuff, collecting tomes for training, my crafting. I haven't gotten that high, but I've been taking some time to do that. And I've been going through and just making sure I understand everything going on with the Barbarian, and I've got a few more abilities, a little bit of a larger kit. Let's go ahead and jump into the game here.
Let us seek honor together, my friend.
This place reeks of death. The fallen star is near.
And the tomes. Onward!
Okay, so what you want to see here is that I now have 4 abilities in my skill setup. I've got Cleave, Hammer of the Ancients, Leap Attack, and Battle Rage. I have unlocked this 4th slot, so I can have 4 active abilities at a time, which I've got on my hotbar. And I've also got some consumables, minor elixirs of resilience, and some health potions. Hopefully won't need to use too much of that. But so here's what you want to see. Here is Cleave. Just a multi-target attack. You get it pretty early. Hammer of the Ancients. If I generated some rage, I'd be able to use it. That's a right click. That's AoE damage around the target. So that's pretty good. Now, Leap is iconic. Just go ahead and jump around. Jump almost to the max cursor length. There's some places where I can't make it quite that far. But, Leap is pretty iconic. You'll see me use it here. And then Battle Rage, which is a 30-second buff. Pretty good buff. Not much to say about it. I do have a couple other abilities that I'm not using here that I have gained since my original playthrough, but they just frankly aren't very useful to this playthrough. So here's Revenge. Inflict 150% weapon damage to all enemies within 8 yards and gain 5% life for each enemy hit. Revenge has a 10% chance to become active for a short time each time you are hit by an attack. Okay, so here's the thing about Revenge. I have my Templar with me, and I'll explain that in just a second. But because I have my Templar, a lot of incoming attacks are not hitting me. They're hitting him. And that's just his role. That's what he's been doing. He usually gets out there before I do, and I come in and clean up everything. So I'm not going with Revenge. I don't care too much about it, but there you go. It's a nice defensive buff, and we're not going with it. Another ability here, Rend. I did show a little bit of this. It's just AoE damage. Every second for 3 seconds, deals 60% weapon damage. Pretty good, but doesn't belong in this kit. Things are going to die too quickly. Okay, you've seen Weapon Throw if you watched the original playthrough. Frenzy, swing for 80% weapon damage. Each swing increases attack speed of Frenzy by 15% for 4 seconds. This effect can stack up to 5 times for a total bonus of 75% attack speed. This is actually fantastic. It's very good. However, it's going to be so situational. It's very good in a single target situation, sustained. So something like the Skeleton King, if I'm just focusing on him, I can justify it. But the fact of the matter is, most of this playthrough is going to be AoE damage. I'm not going to get into Frenzy. Frenzy is a very straightforward thing. The damage is good, and I am positive this is the kind of thing that will scale well later in the game. Just not terribly useful. Now, Ground Stomp is something that is very useful. Shake the ground to inflict 30% weapon damage to all enemies within 12 yards and stun them for 3 seconds. The primary thing about this, the AoE is nice. The stunning them for 3 seconds, not as useful. Again, we're going to be tearing through things here. That's the nature of it's just, this is the only content available in the beta right now, so I can't go into something harder. I will say that the Ground Stomp, I did test it like on the Skeleton King. It does interrupt him. It does keep him stunned, so it is useful on bosses. That's good to know. Anyway, aside from that, we've looked at some of the abilities you've seen. The other thing is I opened up my first passive skill. So here are my passive skills. Critical hit, Ruthless is the one I have selected right now. Critical hit chance increased by 5%. Critical hit damage increased by 50%. Now, I opened this up at level 10.
There is someone out there who would benefit from our aid right now.
He is getting bored. So I'll explain him in just a second here too. Okay, Pound of Flesh increases the chance of finding a health globe by 25%, and you gain 100% additional health from health globes. That's actually pretty cool. Kind of. I have had no use for it. I haven't even tried it yet. It seems like it could be useful, especially since the health globes heal multiple targets at a time. Bloodthirst, gain 10% of all damage done as life. This kept me alive as soon as I got level 10 and I was just burning through things. This made sure that I could sustain it. But for right now, I've been trying Ruthless just because I do want to see, you know, how this scales with the additional damage and everything. And I'll show you a couple other things. My inventory. Okay, so let's see. 1 second. My basic attack damage has gone up dramatically. And let's see, critical hit damage is now 164%. Originally it was 150%. Let's go ahead and open up my inventory here. On my inventory, Brutal Heavy Axe of Storms and Brutal Heavy Axe of Legions. I got both of these from the auction house. And I also have a number of items that I've collected from different playthroughs here. And I've kind of combined it all, so I'm not as epiced out as I could be, but it's still a pretty good setup. So I'm going to be dealing a decent amount of damage here, much higher than you saw the first time through. I have multiple rings down here. I've got just a couple items that I had on hand. And I've got a lot of consumables, as I mentioned. Okay, so the Templar. The Templar is interesting. And I know this has been brought up in other people's videos because a lot of the other playthroughs have been after a full playthrough and just kind of repeat. And that's what I'm going to be doing here, obviously. But the Templar, if you aren't aware, he is someone that we pick up towards the end of what is available in the beta. Once I acquire him, he is permanently with me, and that's pretty cool. So when I just started the game over, he is with me already, even though I haven't reached that point in the quest. And on top of this, he actually has gear, and this is something I wasn't aware of the previous times I've played through. So this guy actually has gear, and I have put this gear on him to make him a little stronger. He does have stats as well. He has abilities at level 5, basically immediately after getting him. I got him. I told him to get healed because I want him to heal me, because that's the job of any paladin, right? And loyalty regenerates 2 life per second for all allies near the Templar. Okay, so that's another, basically a heal. Now I could have forced him to go more into tanking, and I could have kept him alive. Well, roundabout ways. I mean, I could have taken the passive to get more health globes, etc. Not a terribly big deal, but I didn't choose to go the tanking route. I did choose to go and make him be the paladin healer. Okay, so he does level up. He levels up. He's still catching up to me. He gets a special at level 18. I don't know anything about that. But take it for what it is. This guy is with me, and the cool thing about this is once we get into the part where the other Templar is, he will have a dialogue with him, and he will be like a separate Templar. So it's an interesting dynamic. It makes sense because you will be playing through this, so they did need to do something to deal with that paradox. Like, you go through normal mode, and then you go through the next difficulty, and when you're playing back through, well, if you keep your companions, you know what's going to go on there. So they have adjusted for that, so even though I picked him up at this particular quest, when I get to that quest again, it's going to be as though it's a different Templar. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. Now, one other quick thing, I'm not even going to get into it. Let's just start killing. Only slightly easier than it was the first time, because the first time these were all one-shottable too.
I seek the fallen star.
It fell on the old cathedral. There was only one survivor, Leah. You should speak with her.
Captain Rumford, more dead are coming.
We can't open the gates until we drive them back.
They keep coming.
I've never seen anyone fight like that before. Guards, open the gates. You'll find Leah at the Slaughtered Calf Inn.
Alright, and per request, I'm not going to be talking over any of the dialogue or cutting it short. So this will actually be, despite the gear upgrades, probably about as long of a playthrough as previous, because I did cut some of the dialogue short and did talk over some of it.
Welcome to the Slaughtered Calf Inn. Bring me whatever treasures.
Are you Leah? Rumford said you survived the fallen star.
I did, but it blasted my uncle Deckard Cain into the depths of the old cathedral. I tried to search for him, but the dead were already rising. I came back here to rally the militia, but... Watch out! The wounded are turning!
This is killing business.
The dead will overwhelm us all, unless something is done.
I will send them back to their graves. I will save your town.
Thank you. You should speak with Captain Rumford at the gate. He can tell you what to do.
Captain Rumford is just outside here. Well, outside town. So if you see the minimap, if you haven't seen any of these playthroughs yet, minimap, I've got a blinking yellow icon over here. That's where I'm headed to, and that's what's going to give me the update on the quest.
How can I help fight the risen dead?
I admire your courage, but Captain Dalton and the militia were slaughtered by those things. Only I survived.
Your warriors will be avenged.
Well, I have seen you fight. Strike at the wretched mothers and their queen. They're the ones vomiting out these horrors.
Now, as I attack, I'll gain fury, and that fury is what I use to use my hammer and use my my battle shout. Fortunately, because things are dying so quickly, I'm not getting too much. Go ahead and make use of some of my abilities. These are all fury generators, kind of gold abilities. So one thing I need to start doing is using this. I get quite a bit from landing on someone with my,
For the innocent!
that.
Need more time. The ruins of old Tristram are truly cursed.
This village surrendered to evil and paid the price.
Thank you for your help, but could you talk some sense into Leah? She won't give up on the idea of rescuing her uncle.
Nor should she. I will help her find him. Come, let us search for your uncle.
We'll need to open the cathedral first. The guards locked it up before they were ambushed. Rumford told me they fought their way back to ADRIA'S hut. The key must still be there.
Okay, before I go in there, I'll just show you the shared stash. So this is a shared stash. I can use it on all of my characters, and I can also send stuff from the auction house here. So, yeah, not too much to it, and the gold as well is shared. I only have 530. I did spend quite a bit up to this point on the auction house. So there you go.
Here,
She's going to break this lock, and let's go ahead and move forward.
Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Deckard.
What is your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons. There's something over here.
Your mother had her secrets.
People said she was a witch, but I never believed it. Captain Dalton! Here's the key, and my mother's journal. What I've seen of it is disturbing. I want to know more about her, but that can wait. We need to save Uncle Deckard first.
I will go. Stay here and learn what you can.
Thank you.
Alright, let's go ahead and head out and get to Deckard Cain.
Not enough fury.
Tristram Cathedral. I am amazed it still stands.
This is where the star fell.
Do you smell that? The stone itself burns.
Help me! It's inside! Inside!
Now right now we're looking for the way to get deeper in. I'm just showing off some of the combat skills as we go through here. Here are bookcases. You get tomes of training and several other things out of them. So as soon as you see them, make sure that you pick them up. Those are used for crafting, for leveling up your blacksmith, and presumably the other types of crafters as well. Also, currently, interesting, this is a known bug, but some of the items from the bookcase will actually drop a level above them. So if I want to pick them up, I happen to be going this way anyway, I have to go all the way up here after opening the bookcase.
You wilt against my blows.
Nothing more than a...
Alright, here's the way down. Save Deckard Cain.
Foul minions, stay back! Back! May this ledge hold. The Skeleton King?
The power of the fallen star awakened me, and soon all will suffer as I have suffered. Gods, bring me his bones!
Cain! I will save you! Stay back! Thank you, but why did you risk yourself for me?
I have need of your knowledge, Deckard Cain. Leah will be happy that you live.
Oh, it is wonderful to hear that Leah is well. I feared the worst. I learned of this secret passage through old maps I found. We must...
Uncle, you're alive!
Thanks to you and your friend here.
Time is running short. What can you tell me of the fallen star?
Not much, I'm afraid, though the prophecy of the end days surely points to it as a sign that the end has begun.
Please, Uncle, not more of your stories. All that matters now is that you're back.
The Skeleton King was once our beloved lord, Leoric. He was driven mad by Diablo's evil. He lost both of his sons and his very soul before he was finally defeated. Now it seems he's risen to plague this land once again.
A sad tale, but I seek the fallen star, and he stands in my way.
The key to defeating him lies in his old crown. Seek out our blacksmith, Hadrig. He knows of its whereabouts. Leah, you should not dismiss the signs so lightly.
Alright, we're headed down to the blacksmith to find out more about the crown.
Did you hear? Old Rumford has us down to half rations.
Blacksmith, Deckard Cain said you could help me find the crown of Leoric.
Not now. It's my wife. She's locked in the cellar like all those who've been bitten. I'm to put them all down. But how can I kill my own wife?
It is regrettable, but it must be done. I will help you.
Thank you. Follow me.
We must be ready to finish this work, if he cannot.
Like I said, that Templar just had custom dialogue for this scene, and he hasn't even appeared in the game at this point. So they did put a lot of work in making sure that he was useful on playthroughs, or sensible on playthroughs.
I'm sorry.
Apologies will not lay them to rest, blacksmith. Swing your bloody hammer.
This must be done.
Mira, my love, forgive me.
Hedrig, help me.
I couldn't have done this without you. I'm in your debt. My name is Hedrig Aemon.
Hedrig, I need your aid. I must find Leoric's crown.
I can help you there. It's buried with his Chancellor, my grandfather. You'll find his tomb in a cemetery in the Weeping Hollow. And if you see my fool apprentice out there, tell him to get back to town.
Alright, let's head out of town. Let's find his fool apprentice on the way to the, the cemetery?
Coming this time. I hear something stirring in the distance.
Should be the Den of the Fallen over there. But we are looking for a little blacksmith. A dead one. And here he is. So he's usually the left side of the road, but at different places on different playthroughs.
This must be the blacksmith's apprentice. Hedrig should be told of this fate.
And let's go ahead and get back on track here. Now the road will always lead me to this break up here that we're about to reach, and after the break I'll be able to get into the cemetery by skirting around to the side.
This will be rough.
So there are always 3 potential crypts. Here's one of them. There's always 3 in this cemetery that I have seen. And let's go ahead and jump into the first one. It can be any of these 3. It's completely random. It can be any of these 3, which is the one we're looking for. The other ones will have rewards for completing them. So if you want to be a completionist, get a little more experience and items, go ahead and go through them. But for now, let's just see if we can get through and find which one is the correct one as quickly as possible. Though, of course, it is random. Now, unlike the monk and unlike the demon hunter, I can actually, as a barbarian, jump over obstacles. A lot of them. Sometimes bridges that have fallen apart, things like that. Whereas those classes cannot. Any kind of obstruction will actually stop you. The barbarian, in some cases, obstructions will stop you, but a lot of the time they won't, which is pretty convenient. We got lucky on our first go here.
All this pomp and...
I am on the right path. The crown must be near.
The Chancellor kept it safe for many years. A noble act.
got enough fury.
No, I will not allow you to bring that monster Leoric back to this world.
Alright, so the cool thing is I just got Stone of Recall. Well, actually I didn't. It doesn't show it, of course, so... normally in the quest line, if you're going through it, you would get the Stone of Recall here, and then you would port back.
You found the crown. Truth be told, I didn't think you'd make it back alive. Ah, it needs repair. Should be no problem. It's good to work again. There. New as the day it was placed upon the Black King's head. I need something more than making spades to occupy my mind. I want my life to mean something.
Then follow me and hone your skills. There is deadly work to be done, and I will need your arms. I have grave news. Your apprentice is dead.
Fool boy. Hope for the worst and you will not be disappointed. Thank you for the news.
Alright, and the zooming in that I'm doing is actually just me. Quickly, I'm not going to cover crafting here. Covered in each of the other videos. I'll cover that separately, so let's go ahead and talk to Deckard.
Leoric's crown has been reforged.
Ah, at last. With it, you can unlock the sealed door in the room where you rescued me and enter the royal crypts. When you find the Skeleton King, place the crown atop his head and destroy him.
I will crush him and find the fallen star.
Well, actually, in the interest of being a little bit of a completionist, I'll go ahead and show you this. Now, here's the crafting interface. I've got him through artisan experience. Like, I've got 2 books turned in, and I'm turning in more books here. So that's why I have an experience bar, but that's just the equivalent of 2 books, nothing else. And then I've clicked the train button each time I've had them. Now, a book is formed of 5 pages. The 5 pages, if you look over in my inventory, it's kind of in the, well, it's in the 3rd column, you can see it right now, page of training. I get these out of bookcases, and they'll drop from other things. They'll occasionally drop from chests, things like that. So, page of training, collect 5, turn it into a book of training, turn the tome of training, turn the tome of training in, and then I'll get a little bit more experience along the bar. And as I get more experience, I'll get more recipes. So I've gotten a couple recipes from actually turning those in. You can also get recipes like Plan Apprentice Shiv, which I've got highlighted right now. Now this I've already found and I've already learned it, so that's why I can actually make an Apprentice Shiv right now. So as an example, before I get into how you get the crafting materials, I'll just show you basic crafting, and it goes in my inventory right afterwards. There you go, I've made an Apprentice Shiv. Now, some of these items are actually pretty good for when they're available to you, so it's a good idea to actually pick this up as soon as you can. And separate of that, the other thing is disenchanting is kind of a basic thing. You get it as soon as you talk to Hadrig the first time when we go and kill his wife. The Nephalem Cube in my inventory, I'm just going to go ahead and disenchant everything in my inventory that I just picked up, and show you how I'm getting crafting material. Okay, and I'm actually getting that because, or what I'm getting is common scraps, and the other thing that I'm getting is, let's see, the common scraps are the 2 brown things, subtle essences. Now the subtle essences I tend to get, by salvaging magic weapons and armor. I've gotten a lot of those too, so every time I salvage, now to quickly go through and salvage something, I just hold down shift, and then I left-click in sequence all the things that I want to get rid of. The Cauldron of Jordan is different. This I get a little earlier in the game. The Cauldron of Jordan lets me sell items. So if I'm not looking for these basic scraps and stuff...
stand around.
Jerk. If I'm not looking for just the scraps and stuff, then I'll sell it and I'll make money. It's a quick way to make money. You can sell from anywhere in the world. That is very convenient. Okay, so to get back into this, and I have Fallen Tooth, haven't found a place to use that yet, and let's go ahead and jump back into the game. Here's an example of just jumping over something randomly. Now, what I haven't been able to do too much of, not actually getting very much fury, and that's part of the cleave is a little less fury generated, actually substantial over time. It's 2 fury as opposed to 3 from the single target. So I'm not sure what would be the most effective thing to use, but certainly that is limited in its usefulness. And I'm back this way, so apologize for bringing us this way. I should look at the minimap. I'll just keep going in this direction, alright. So my choice of abilities may not be the most efficient. I'm not sure. It seemed like a pretty good combination, but hopefully we can start getting some more fury. I'm not getting much of a chance to make use of my hammer.
There, a worthy foe.
Frozen means they'll slow me down, especially after they die. This guy. Now we are looking for our way down to the next level. I don't know exactly where that's going to be. It's not going to be here, though.
That was a worthy foe. Glorious.
And here's where we meet our other Templar.
Maintain your incantations. He will see
your magic.
I am free.
Now, back to my mission.
Who are you?
You will know soon enough. Help me find my gear. I will reward you well. Tell me, what brought you to this infernal place?
I come to vanquish the Skeleton King.
As do I. Why have you come here, brother? One of our number has forsaken his vows and joined the demonic coven that infests this fallen cathedral. Damn that traitor! We will make him pay!
So, yeah, he has special dialogue as though he's a totally different character, but that's actually where I picked him up. So, I've already said it a couple times, but it's pretty cool.
The cultists dragged me past this glowing pit. What made it?
I am here to find out.
I almost lost sight of you there.
He's free! Do not let him rearm!
Now I understand. You wear the armor of a Templar. Tales of Templar classes have reached even my distant lands.
If it is the Skeleton King you seek, then you will have to fight your way past Jonjar. There is no reason we should hunt alone.
I know a Templar can be trusted. Together we fight.
Evil cowers at the sight of just one Templar. Two will bring it to its knees. Black magic bars our way, but the will of a Templar is stronger. You were a Templar, John Dark. How could you succumb to this coven?
The coven is my brotherhood now. Please forgive me. My vision was clouded by the coven's evil magic.
Betrayal can never be forgiven. Thank you for your aid. I will go with you on your hunt for the Skeleton King. But there is one condition. If we find the sacred tomes of my order, they are mine.
Agreed.
Then onwards we go to fight the Skeleton King.
Now normally he would ask to join my party, however, in this case, he probably is not going to. And he hasn't the last several playthroughs. He's actually, as I've been playing through on classes that I've already beaten the game with, he hasn't asked to join my party for a while, but in the past, like the first time I went through, he did, and I could have 2 Templars in the party at the same time. But in this case, that's no longer an option. I'm not sure exactly what mechanic is causing that. Whether it's intended or not, I have no idea. But just so you're aware, your first time through at least, you should have the option to have both in your party.
The ancients smile on me.
Check this bookcase real quick. Annoyingly hard to click.
I tried to count how many we've killed, but I've lost track.
Alright, this is the end of this direction.
Your flesh is weak.
And we'll just keep heading in this direction. With any luck, we'll go to the right place. This should be a mini event, just 4 shield guys about to be summoned. Again, you can jump over obstacles that you can't do on other classes. So right there, I could not have done that on my Demon Hunter, and I could not have done it on my Monk.
Nothing more than a scratch.
Back to hell, dog.
Another step upon the path to glory.
A number of rooms that look like this have a chest like this. Not all of them, but if you do see a room like this, there's a chance it will have a chest like that at the upper side there. Lots of bookcases in these too. I'm not going to do too much searching around here. Interesting, so he's found something. Oh, just these with knockbacks. Kind of useful as an archer. And in the other playthroughs, as you've seen, those Scribe's Lanterns After you play through, they don't drop the lore anymore, the dialogue from Locked On. But your first time through, every time you find one of the Scribe's Lanterns, it will drop part of the lore. It can still drop other items, but it will drop a kind of voiceover thing from Locked On. I think there are 5 parts to it, and then it'll stop dropping anymore.
Wolf Capos, guide my hand.
Should spawn in. There we go. There are a lot of different little traps, and I think I found most or all of them at this point in my playthroughs. Yeah, they're all pretty simple, but there are a lot of them where you just click something and then all of a sudden 3 undead spawn, or 4 undead spawn, or you find 2 of the channeling Tome Guardians, and let's go ahead and usually nothing too big to worry about. Of course, it is early in the game. Yeah.
That is a fine spear.
It is nothing compared to the Grand Maester's spear. It is named Akanesh, the Herald of Righteousness. A sharper blade was never forged.
A Templar just hit level 12 recently. I'm sure it was in this playthrough, but I didn't pay attention to exactly when. I'm actually not terribly far off from level 13. I believe 13 is the cap. I don't know that for sure. And let me look at the map so I'm not going to spend too much time going in the wrong direction here. Okay, so it's going to be probably to the south of me. Looks like that's going to have to be it. Let him know what's up.
Not be denied.
Keep your distance from him. This burden is mine to bear. May death bring peace from your madness, Leoric.
Traitors! Even in death, the armies of Condorus will still obey their king, even if you will not.
I don't know if I already said this, but the zooming in you're seeing is me manually doing it. It's just a Z button. You can rebind it to your mouse zoom, or your mouse wheel, rather.
You dare to bring the warmth of life into my tomb?
We shall put you down, Hellspawn!
Okay, and by using the shrine, we're going to get a bonus here. Now, here's the thing. As a Barbarian, I haven't been able to do this on the other classes yet. As a Barbarian, if I use this and then I jump over the next obstacle, I can get to the Skeleton King quick enough and kill him quick enough that it doesn't expire. I'm not sure how it affects its Gold Find, Magic Find. I'm not sure how it affects the items he drops, but it is, you know, if it does affect it, I'm going to try to beat him in time. And on that note, let's go ahead and switch out one of our skills. Let's go ahead and switch Cleave, because I'm not going to need multi-target abilities, although realistically it doesn't matter all that much. But let's go ahead and switch that out for Bash instead. So this will be single target to help me get more damage out on the Skeleton King, and let's see if we can get him down real quickly. Like I normally would have to... Well, anyway, he can teleport around when I teleport. And we're going to have the intro real quick. I'm going to go ahead and skip it. You've probably seen it in the other walkthroughs. Because I do want to get this kill. I don't know if the timer is running. I just have no idea.
You will never defeat me!
You were defeated the moment you surrendered to madness.
Not a terribly hard hitter, so I'm just going to take him straight on. I will use heal potion if I need to. That was a little faster than I expected, but there you go. That's the playthrough of the Barbarian, the second time I've done the playthrough, at least on video here, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I love the Barbarian class so far, so I hope you do too. And next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting into kind of mini videos where I show some of the more advanced aspects of classes now that I've learned them, and reading some of the comments and some of what people have been saying, and actually doing some research on them. I'm going to be doing kind of a collection of mini videos on each of the classes, not full playthroughs like this, but to really show their strengths as they have a few more abilities, etc. So thank you.